What's up? How you doing? Here we are. Beautiful night tonight. Beautiful night. Fresh water, ice, delicious. Delicious water. We have good tasting water. So good. Anyway, I have a book, a really nice book, The Atlas of Car Design. The world's most iconic cars are in here. This book is by Jason Barlow. Jason Barlow. It's got everything in here. Really good book. The Atlas of Car Design. Now, what is my favorite car? Well, everybody knows that when I was in high school, I wanted a 1967 4-speed manual transmission, 400 cubic inch engine GTO Pontiac GTO, and I never got one. Now they're very expensive, especially if you get a really nice, mint condition one. But I'm a fan of cars. I think they're magnificent. But there's a few of them that really, grab my attention. The 67 GTO, love it. The 77 Trans Am. What more can I say about that? Smokey and the Bandit. Burt Reynolds single-handedly brought that car back to life. I was very upset when General Motors got rid of Pontiac. I thought Pontiac should have stayed. Pontiac had a lot of good cars. And then you have cars here. Roadmaster Series 70, 1940 to 1957. That car, the Roadmaster, a lot of room inside. A lot of room. And then you have the Jeeps. The old-fashioned Jeeps, they could go anywhere. Nice stick shift in there. They even have the Tucker. This is a concept car here. It's the Davis Devon, 1947 to 49. The Oldsmobile. The Cadillac. My father never said Cadillac. My father said Condillac. I don't know what he found. He found an N in there, so he would stick it in there. Condillac. I don't know how many times I said it's Cadillac. He would repeat what I said. It would be Condillac. I was a fan, still am a fan of Cadillac. The coolest sounding name, Cadillac. And I was a fan of the Fleetwood, the Brougham, big ones. Remember those back in the early 70s? Just a lot of room in there. Drive like this if you were cool. There we go, GTO here. This is not a 67 though. What year is that? I don't know. 64. Yeah, that. Right there. GTO. Yeah, so I wanted a GTO. And I remember one time, because I would hang around the railroad tracks. And one day it was kind of like, it was a fall day, had not had my license yet, and I was walking on the railroad tracks, and it was a bit drizzly, misty. Play Misty for me, awesome movie. And in those days, and it's probably the case now, there were these old abandoned factories at some portion of the railroad tracks, way up. And I would walk through there, and it was just empty. It was just like a skeleton steel building. And on the other side, I didn't know it, but one day I did find out. I crossed in, and they had a dealership from the area use that place for storage of all its cars. So I went back there and go, wow, there's a lot of cars back here. And back then the Astro vans came out, and I was looking at them, I go, it would be pretty cool to get one of these and just you know, go cross country or something. So I tried the doors, and one of them was open. I remember it was a blue one. I went in there, they had the plastic over the seats, and I sat in there while the rain was coming down after. And I said, you know, it'd be pretty cool to own one of these. And had a friend of mine back then, we were talking about it. He goes, why don't we go 50-50? And back then we thought that was a great idea. Turns out, going 50-50, not a good idea. It'll ruin your friendship. You'll be fighting who gets the car when, and you don't want to deal with that. There's a classic here. Jeep Wagoneer SJ, 1963. They made it all the way to 91. Really, you know, that's like the car from Deliverance. Look at that. That's another car that I thought was cool, you know, to go deep into the woods, northern Maine or something. Cadillac. Look how big this thing is. Fleetwood Eldorado. Monster. The Ford GT40. 1964 to 69. Look at this beautiful car. That's a very, very expensive motor car. Cadillac Fleetwood Eldorado. Oh yeah, this is a nice one here. I knew somebody, friend of the family, you know, and they owned back then a blue and white Oldsmobile 442. I think this was a 1971 model. Awesome car. I'll show you a picture here. This side here. Beautiful car. This is another, the Roadrunner Superbird. Kind of looks like the Monkees car. The Pinto. I can't say enough for the Pinto. The Buick GSX. That's a beautiful car. Just, I look at these and I remember my childhood. So the one I'm looking at down here, the Chrysler Cordoba. Beautiful car. My aunt and uncle. My aunt, that was her car. She drove that. And for a period of time, I went to the same school as my cousins did. And I would get a ride from her. She would give us a ride. She was kind enough to give us a ride, me and my sister, back home. And that's the car she would pick us up in. Chrysler Cordoba. Very, very nice car. And then over here, the Cadillac Seville, 76 to 79. We had a neighbor. I was really good friends with the kids. And the husband, it was kind of like a George Jefferson story. Started off with nothing, and one day he hit it big. You know, doing, I don't know, he's importing stuff. And I remember they used to own a Chevrolet Caprice. And one day they got rid of that, and they replaced it with a Cadillac Seville. And she would give us rides, and it had the best, smoothest ride in that car. So nice. I still remember how nice it felt. I was in the back seat, and it was like nice and smooth. The classic Ford F-Series pickup, beautiful truck. The SS Chevelle, that was another nice car. All of these muscle cars back in the 70s, beautiful. Plymouth Barracuda. And then we have here the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, 1973 to 79, has the Eagle. This is not the Burt Reynolds one. See it up there. Yeah, very exciting time when you're a kid. You know you're going to get your license, driver's license, and you're looking. I remember I used to get those auto sales magazines, and you'd go through them and you'd start checking them off, like, you know, $1,000. I paid $800 for my, not my first car, but one of my first cars. $850, maybe, I think it was $850. They even have the Tesla, the truck. Yeah, they got new stuff in here too. You know, the design of the Tesla, you know, is a bit strange looking. The truck. I will say one thing though that is impressive to me: the outer, you know, the shell, the skin of the metal, the exterior, very thick and strong. You know, you put your thumb against a Tesla, it will not budge. You go to like a newer car, regular newer car, and you can put your finger and make a dent. I've never seen this, but it looks nice. The VUHL05. Anybody know what this is? I've never. Beautiful car. Nice looking car. And here we go. These are, I guess, foreign cars. South America, maybe. Yeah, Brazil. They look weird, you know. They're not as sharp looking as the American versions. I mean, I see some of these. They sold them in America, but they didn't look like that. Now these are the European ones. Of course, Italy, Germany, beautiful cars. And all of these, the interior shots, they show stick shift. Volvo. Zenvo, ST1 Zenvo. And here we go back to the old-fashioned looking cars. A lot of curves in the old-fashioned cars. Jaguar. I don't know if they still do it, but I remember the commercials here. The full moon. That's a big moon. Wow, big and bright. They started saying, instead of Jaguar, they would say Jaguar. Get the new Jaguar. Lotus 7. Yeah, very different looking. I don't even know a lot of these. I know the Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce always looked nice. My father, you know, when I was a kid, I don't know who told him this, but when I was a kid, my father would always say to me, Rolls Royce is the best car in the world. Very expensive. They only make a small amount, and every single year Elvis Presley buys the whole batch. It's not true. I don't know who told him that, but my whole life when I was a kid, he would tell me that Elvis Presley buys every single Rolls Royce manufactured. Look, he's got that kind of money to buy every single one. Well, they're making like 10 of them a year. But somebody told him that, and that's what he ended up believing. Yeah, these are, you know, even in the old days, European cars were teeny weeny. Aston Martin, beautiful car. Let's see what jumps out at me here. Should put a faucet out here. Fresh water. Nice car. Jaguar. The Jaguar XJ220. That's a beautiful car. And I'm not a big fan of Jaguar, but that one is nice. McLaren. Beautiful. The Mini, I don't know. I guess it's cool, but it's too small. Too small. Rolls-Royce Phantom, beautiful. Aston Martin DB9, another nice looking car. Yeah, Aston Martin, nice. And what is this? The Morgan. A Morgan Aeromax. I don't think I've ever seen one of these in real life. Always say that in real life. The BAC, B-A-C. Mono R. Looks like a jet. Look at this car. This one here. Wow. McLaren Speedtail. That's like from the future. It's a heavy book. This one here. Yep. Oh, this is nice. Aston Martin Valkyrie. That is beautiful. But that looks like one person can fit in there. Look at this thing. I highly recommend this book. If you see this book in the bookstore, pick it up. Pick it up. The Lotus, nice car. All of these cars are fantastic. Lotus, Aston Martin, Valhalla. That's a beautiful car. I want to show you that. That's, both of them are Aston Martin, beautiful. This one and that one. Look at that one up top. Yeah, very expensive though. GMA, beautiful car. Cat on the back looks like the Batmobile from the '66 series. Now we go back to the old cars. The Beetle. I'll tell you, that moon is huge. By the way, a lot of people don't like to say by the way. They're going back to the moon. This month here, February, they're supposed to not land on it, but they're supposed to do a couple of loops around it and then come back. And then next year, they're going to land. Gonna land there, and they're saying now they're gonna stay. They're gonna make like a base there. And hopefully I can go one day. Porsche. Some people say Porsche, some people say Porsche. I don't know. I like Porsche. BMW, Audi, Opel, Volkswagen Golf. Remember those cars? Was not a fan of that. Not a fan. I don't mind Volkswagen, but the Golf, too simplistic. I don't know. Yeah, these are all like, you know, sedans. This BMW has a Z1. I don't think I've ever seen one of these in real life. BMW, what's that? 8 Series, 850i. Never seen that. I don't know. I might wear the station wagons. Very nice Porsche Boxster. And then Audi, that's never seen this Audi, the A2 Audi. That's a nice Mercedes here. Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG, period. Volkswagen X1. I've never seen that. I don't know, these are in Europe. Nice cars. Volkswagen AMG. That's a nice, I mean, I don't know what to cross that out. Mercedes AMG. It's a beautiful car. It looks fast. I don't know. Oh. This one here. Beautiful cars. Now, Volkswagen, the van, Mama's Boy. So the Volkswagen, you know that, the van, this is the electric version, they call it ID Buzz. But a few years ago, me and my bride, we were looking at these restored 1960s Volkswagen vans, right? And we wanted to buy one. It was nice. This guy, he restored it so it looked brand new out of the box. Beautiful colors, beautiful interior, and we were doing an auction back and forth with somebody else. We got to a point where I looked at it and I said, that's too high now and it's not worth it. So the other guy got it. Yeah, at a certain point, you're like, I don't want to get ripped off either, you know, no matter how much you want it. And you know, we're not hippies. These I've never seen. They look nice from the 30s, but I've never, like, I'll show you this one here. Delahaye. Look at this car. Look at these. These are like, they look like concept cars. Very, very futuristic for the time they were made. Yeah, that company, never heard of it. Look at these cars. These are like Citroën, that I've heard of. I find that car ridiculous. It's my opinion, I just find it just ridiculous looking. Facel Vega. Peugeot. Citroën. Peugeot and Citroën here. Wow, that's a nice car. Bugatti, right? That's a nice car. That actually looks like El Arrigo in the desert. Might be. I thumbed through it for now, and then later on I will go through the reading part of it. My phone died. What can you do? Yeah, these cars have no idea. I know the Maserati. Wow, that's a crazy looking Maserati. 1950s, 1953 to 55. Look at this Maserati. Who's that? Sammy Hagar, Can't Drive 55. Was he driving a Maserati? And Billy Joel sings about a Maserati and the song That's Not Her Style from the album Stormfront that came out in 1989. Maserati right outside. Yeah, Lamborghini. I like that Lamborghini. There's a cool looking Maserati. Maserati 5000 GT. Beautiful. Ferrari 250 GTO. Beautiful. Yeah, these are the old time Ferraris. Alfa Romeo. That's 1967. Wow, nice. Lamborghini. Lancia Stratos. Oh, there's Clint Eastwood next to a Ferrari. He looks like a little bit too big for the Ferrari. Look at this, Clint Eastwood. You can hit pause if you want to look at it longer. Book's heavy. You know, I'll pull my back out. This is nice here. A Lamborghini LM002. Beautiful. What is that? Pagani Zonda C12. Beautiful. Fiat. Not a fan of Fiat. I don't find their engineers are creating cars that look sharp. I don't find that. What is this? Maserati MC12. Beautiful. I've never seen it in real life though. Yeah, all these in this section, it's all sports cars. They don't give you a price. I wish they had prices like, you know. Oh, nice Ferrari. Ferrari LaFerrari. Lamborghini. Oh, that's nice. Looks like a bullet. Now, this is East Europe. I'm thinking East Europe is not going to have the best looking cars, but oh yeah, Tatra. That looks like a very big car. Yeah, the Praga, not bad. Some of these are all right. Oh, this is a big. The ZIL 114. That looks like somebody look at this. Somebody stretched it out. That one there. Middle East and Africa. Let's see what they have to offer. Wow, that's not bad. What is that? W Motors. Fenir. That's nice. Who makes that? Middle East. Who? It's a company based in Dubai. Asia. They didn't have much, you know, a little small section for the Middle East. I feel like the moon is, you know, that scene in Bruce Almighty where he pulls it closer. That's what it looks like. It looks like the moon is like close. Asia. Hyundai. They say Hyundai. I've never seen these kind of Hyundai. Oh, this is a nice little Jeep. Toyota Land Cruiser BJ 1951. Not bad. Very rugged looking. Oh, this Fuji Toshuda Motors. I would see. Look, I'm going to show you this. I would not buy this. This one here. Oh, look at that. I don't know, if I had somebody, like say I owned a company that made cars and somebody came up with that design, I would tell them go back and try again. Toyota Cruiser station wagon. That's not bad. And then Honda T360. That's like a little cartoon truck. And Nissan. Nissan has a pretty decent looking sports car, the R380 A11. I think I was going through the whole book. I was only going to do a couple of pages, but I can't put it down. Yeah, you know, I don't know if it's still the case, but Honda was considered to be extremely reliable. You know, if you were going to spend, you know, a little bit of money, they always used to say, get a Honda. And Toyota, of course, reliability was off the charts. I don't know if that's the case now, but in the old days, when I was a kid, they would always say, get a Toyota. It's very reliable. I'm a Datsun. Yeah. We're getting here. Lexus LFA. And now we get to Australia. Holden, the Holden. Very classy looking. And here we have, I think Australia has like one car. That's all it was, one page. Yeah, they got a lot of cars in the back here. Well, I had to edit that out. A little bit of an interruption there. I had to take care of something. I'm back. So anyway, it's time to eat dinner. I'm going to probably be back. But that's it for now. Ciao.